Bob Brooks,
Here.
Dwayne Klaus,
Here.
Mark Shaw,
Here.
Ira Hawkins.
Okay, so this meeting is only to discuss the resolution to approve the preliminary engineering report that was done by OWN on, that will be submitted to, through you guys, right? For the CDBG grant for $500,000. So the floor is open.
I get started.
Right.
So in our packet, I have a question in regards to, I didn't know this was happening, by the way. I didn't know about this. I knew about a grant, but I didn't know about the money, where it's going, how it's being utilized. And in our public hearing notice, it says that want to discuss the submission of the grant, and the city is interested in obtaining all citizen input on community development needs within the city. As part of the hearing process, citizens will be asked to verbally assist in the completion of a needs assessment document. The document will detail what the residents feel are the strengths and weaknesses of the community. The city needs as much local participation as possible in order to reflect the true desires of the community as a whole. And then it says, after that, activities that are eligible for funding include improvement of community facilities, demolition, general infrastructure, and others allowed by law. And the only reason I'm repeating this is to let the people know that couldn't be here today, see it on
Yeah,
video.
where did that verbiage come from?
And then, let me finish, hang on, let me finish. So then it says that it can be used in any one of these situations, and that at least 51% of the funds must be used to benefit low and moderate income persons. Immediately after, that right there is saying that the city wants to reach out to the community, get input to see how and where to spend the money. But immediately after that, it goes into all the money is being already delegated to this park. So the city has not had an opportunity to get input on this, where the money's going. That's my first question.
They have over the past several months. This has been in the city council at least twice, in March, and then the last one when we voted on it to go forward with the
We
engineering.
just voted on the approval to look into the grant. We didn't approve on
You
it.
voted on a preliminary engineering design and inspection service. You weren't here. This was done before you got here, sitting on the council, but it was specifically for the project consisting of updating the playground located at Dick Smith Park to include playground equipment, splash pad, and a pavilion and stage
And that was when?
on March 17th.
Okay, so if it was already known, why was this put out to the
I
public?
got you. I don't know where that verbiage came from.
Well, it's in our packet. It's the first page in the packet.
This is Jim. Did you want to?
Yeah, I want to talk to you in a second.
Well, I think, Mark, you have to put a notice out on anything you do that's in a special meeting.
Right, the notice was put out. What I'm getting is, did you read the first three paragraphs? So the first paragraph is saying that we're having this meeting to let the citizens decide how this grant money is going to be spent. And immediately after that, it says the city's going to spend it on this park. It doesn't give any options. That's my problem. My problem is I don't think the citizens of Granby are given enough opportunity. Yep.
I agree.
What's that?
We need to stop because he's out.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, catch you again.
Yep.
couple weeks.
Okay, where do we leave off?
I was just saying, so that document you have there, was that in the March?
That was March 17th.
In the files for the city council? Okay. So anyway, so back to my, they asked me to stop till you got here. So my concern was that this document, you're saying you don't know where it came from, and that's fine. It's in our package. Well, it came from somebody within the city. It's stating that there's different ways to spend the funds. And immediately after, and it's saying in there, they wanted to get the input from the city people on how they would think to utilize the funds. And immediately after that, it goes into the city council, or the city has already decided where they're gonna spend the money. I don't think that's fair to citizens.
Well, I think, also, I think we do represent.
You're sitting
And
here
I talked-
representing
I
your
talked-
ward.
That's right. I talked to multiple people in the last 2 days, and nobody knows anything about it.
When this got in conversation, I believe, and I'm reaching out there now, memory, there was a lot of conversation about this grant and the possibilities of what it was gonna go for. And it seemed like at that time, the popularity was for, additions in the park and what have you.
Okay.
Lana, didn't we do a survey, and can you find and get access to that of what people said that they would be interested in? I believe it was previous mayor that did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I never had access to any of the surveys that were out. My knowledge, I'm happy to ask.
Yeah, because I remember her sending out a survey, and there were things that said, would you like this, and would you like this, and what are your thoughts on this? So if we could get with her and ask her if she's got documentation from those previous surveys? Because it did list items that would be relevant to this grant.
I guess before we get too deep, my question is, before I then ask any of these other questions I have to present to the council, is when is this due? I mean, when do we have to have our final, what we're gonna spend the money on, into wherever it's going?
Well, yeah, today, that's why this has got to be done. So this whole thing has been a timeline-based thing, right? So when we finally found out, the engineering firm that got selected, then the engineering firm contacted us and set a meeting up for the last week in June. It was right the week before Omayantown Days. So they came down here and we sat with them, and they, at that meeting, said, we have a week to get this turned in. Well, it turned out that wasn't the case, but at that time they had a week. So we all went down to the park and we approached it like
Who's we?
me, Jim, and Lana.
And why didn't anybody from the council or the Park and Rec get to go?
Someone from the council did, me.
Okay,
This had been approved.
okay.
This grant had been
Okay.
approved for.
So it's due today?
No, it's due Friday. Can you let me
Okay.
finish talking? You remember how you always say, hey, let me finish talking?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so why don't you let me finish talking?
Go ahead.
So in June, we went down there and we approached it like, what will fit, geography, terrain, what kind of things are applicable to our park, what kind of things did CDBG and OWN think had been approved in the past, because we wanted to put our best foot forward and make sure that we got stuff approved and we got money for the residents of the city to have a nice park. I'm not going to apologize for putting every effort forward to getting this grant approved to get this city $500,000 for the residents to have a nice park.
And I'm not
You can gripe about every I dotted and every T crossed on that piece of paper all you want, Mark. And it doesn't go against anything we did from the very beginning in March. We said this was for the playground and this was for Dick Smith Park. And that's where we went for this whole time. And we've been talking about it. And then none of this, I ain't done.
Go ahead.
This can be changed. We have to have this done by Friday, and this preliminary engineering report has to be done and submitted by Friday so that we qualify to be in the grant cycle in September. Anything after that point, we can change happy to glad on that. You can change everything you want about this. You can move the locations of any of that stuff. We can change the splash pad to a stinking Ferris wheel if you want. All that can be done.
Perfect.
Is that accurate?
Yes, I just talked to Jim. I just talked to the engineer.
I'm asking her.
You can change the scope
Oh.
So let's say, for example, there's a playground, a splash pad, sidewalks. You can split those up into phases.
Yes, and so we always thought this would be phases, because we never thought we would get the whole $500,000. So other municipalities in the area have got this grant before, and most all of them have gotten parts of. So each one of these 5 things that we put in there were done as separate individual things. So they can change locations, you can move them around on there, you can do all kinds of stuff with them and change the scope of them. And then if we get the grant approved in September, if it's 200,000, if it's 100,000, if it's 300,000, then the council chooses which one of these things,
But it has to be one of these things.
or, well, it can.
See,
but
I'm asking. She's saying yes.
That's not what Jim just told me.
On the preliminary engineering report, whatever it is that's
They said something, like, if we get in there and there's something wrong with the area of the splash pad that we can't do it for drainage or whatever is done like that, we can amend the scope of the,
But we can't, if we approve this, we have to have a splash pad. If we approve this, we have to have the zip line. If we approve this, we have to have the playground. Is that what you're saying?
yes.
And I want to go on record saying I have no issues with the money being spent on the park, okay? My biggest concern, one of my concerns is the splash park. Do we have the funds to maintain that after it's installed? Because I did some research, and city sizes our size with that splash park, it runs between $4,000 and $15,000 a year to maintain it, and that is with the recirc pump type of splash park. So we've got to be prepared in our budgets moving forward to be able to absorb that cost to make any needed repairs and maintenance that's going to be required on that splash park. I'm not against the splash park by any means. I'm not against any of this. And I mentioned to Lon, I said, I'm not against this park at all. I'm not against the improvements, but there's other improvements too that could be made. But now that I understand, we can't, this money and this grant, the way it's written right now, can only go to the park and those things in the park. And it is what it is.
it's not like we're not going to continue searching out every grant that we can possibly find to improve everything that we have in this city. But this one, from March 17th, when the council approved it, has been for upgrading playground equipment in Dick Smith Park. It said it right on the engineering specs.
Okay, and like I said, I apologize. That's why I called specifically earlier today to find out if this was brought up before, and I was told you weren't sure. Because I specifically said I haven't been on the council that long, and I was trying to get information before I came here and had this discussion so it wouldn't turn into a heated battle. So I came in here first, Mayor, I apologize, with insufficient information. Okay, if I would have had the correct information and I would have known that this piece of paper was done in March prior to me getting on the council.
And if we think for some reason that the splash pad won't work because we can't afford it, because of drainage problems, and the first thing I brought up about the splash pad, I heard you guys talking, security and people
Liability.
jacking with it. I got it. I said the same thing. I said we got to have a fence around it. We got to have it like Monette put a fence around theirs, and we got pictures of that. It's got to be open in the morning. It's got to be closed at night. Somebody's got to maintain some kind of visibility of the stuff that we put down there, or we're just putting it down there to be destroyed.
I agree, we need improvements to our park. You just stated that you went down in June, and this is the first day that I see this, that this is what we're doing? That's bull.
We got it Monday.
But you said you went down in June and decided what was gonna happen.
We told them what we want them to focus on. Yeah.
And this is the first day that we get talked about it?
I think they just gave them an idea, the engineering company come up with a plan.
And then you come and throw this fake, let's have a hearing and let's let the citizens decide. That's bullshit. I just don't agree with that.
You're not giving the citizens any time to vote on it because you've already decided in this document that this park was going to go with those funds and there were no other choices. That's the way this is written and presented to us today.
And if she's saying that the money we get has to go to these 5 things that you 3 decided with nobody else's input, how did you get citizen involvement?
I do want to say that everything that we have done has been in compliance with how CDBG does their grants. That's the only statement I want to make. is
And it's
that
not like
we weren't
citizens
being
haven't
slick.
been involved in it. I've talked to you guys. I've talked to all kinds of people about what we wanted improvements in the park. A lot of that
It was a
stuff.
blanket statement of improvements in the park.
No, I mean,
Never did
there's
you
lots of
tell
people-
me that we were gonna do a
all
splash
kinds-
pad.
Everybody
Never
says they want
once.
a water thing at the park. Everybody I've ever talked to, number one thing they want approved at the park is they want something with water in it. How many people have you talked to about park improvements?
So from my understanding, there was a community survey that was done, you would have had to have had one, because for a CDBG grant, you would have had to have had one. I'm coming into this on the backside, only because Olivia just had a baby, she's my project manager, so she's the one who actually does CDBG projects, and so I'm kind of standing in for her tonight. But I can tell you that on a CDBG grant, you would have had to have had a community survey done, and it would have had to have been probably, I'm making an assumption here, but sometime around that March meeting. And so you all would have been informed of CDBG grants are coming out. This is what you can do with the grants, whether that be demolition or community improvements, the 5 elements that are allowed by CDBG. And then there would have been a conversation with you all at that time on what you guys wanted to do. That's my understanding. So it sounds like you guys are coming in on the project after all those decisions have really kind of been made in the past. And then they came out with their instructions. The verbiage that you're talking about is exactly from the CDBG manual. We have to have that in our resolution. That doesn't come from us, it doesn't come from the city, that actually comes from CDBG. And we just input the amounts from the PERs, if that helps.
So you're saying this public notice page here was written by you guys and not the city?
So what we
The
do is,
verbiage?
It's there.
the verbiage itself is from CDBG itself.
Right.
Like, we don't
So-
even,
okay.
that's not even our verbiage. And
Okay.
it's not the city's verbiage either. That comes directly from the manual.
Understood.
Because they are very particular about how they want them, and so we give it to you guys and we say, we'll let you know, you do need to put in here from the PER, which will tell you how much funds you're asking for. That has to be in the public notice, and so that's the reason why. I don't know if that helps.
No, yeah, and I get all that. Like I said, I have to back up. I wasn't given the proper information when it came into the sharing, number one. And number two, my issue, one of my issues is simply that it seems like this is being pushed. And again, it's being pushed because there's a deadline, and why did it wait so long to get to the end of the deadline? And it gave me, when I read this, it gave me the impression that there was gonna be time for the city, the public of the city, to be involved in this project, but then immediately it goes into, the city's determined already, this is what we're gonna do with the money. And again, so it's known, I don't have an issue with upgrading this park. We have a lot of new homes being built, we got people coming in the community, it's a thing that will bring people in. But if we're getting a grant to do stuff like this, I think it should have came to the city council so that we had an opportunity to look at other options. I mean, we have a ballpark facility that brings in revenue here every year, good money, with dilapidated equipment, concession stand. The equipment still needs, there needs to be some upgrade on the
Yeah,
equipment.
and the
concession
city
stand needs
itself
work.
is-
I'm not done. The city, community center over here where we do lunches and coffee stuff with the seniors and stuff, I don't think it's been fixed yet, right? Is the ceiling
We have
still?
put significant ARPA funds and city funds into all of the things that you've commented on in the past 10 years. And I'm happy to pull reports for you. It will take some time. We have never invested money in Dick Smith Park. The ballpark has received funding after funding after funding. We updated somewhat the senior center kitchen. We updated the gymnasium with new HVAC. So we have put money into those projects. They have not gone long ignored.
Okay.
Dick Smith Park has been ignored for decades, and that's where children want to play. They don't want to play at the senior center. They don't want to play at the Veterans Park. They want to play down there, and that's where Old Mining Town Days is held. It was the reasonable location to do something, and an opportunity to bring $500,000 to the city to make those improvements so small families could enjoy the area. I think to indicate that there were areas that we should have put the money first would be erroneous, because there's not. Dick Smith Park is a mess, and you see comments about that all of the time on Granby's Thoughts and Views and the Granby Facebook pages about how we need new basketball goals, how we need new concrete, how we need a new stage, how we need something for the kids to do. And that was the intent all along.
And I didn't debate that at all in this whole conversation right now. Again, I said I don't have any issues with upgrading the park, but I don't think all the money had to be designated to that one park. It could have been designated to other areas that conform to one of these 5 items, correct?
This is not a one-time
Could
grant.
we have taken 200,000 and put it in Dick Smith Park and 100,000 over in this park,
Look,
100,000 in demolition?
this preliminary engineering report can be used for the next 6 grant cycles.
For what?
This preliminary engineering report that we have right here can be used for the next 6 grant cycles. It's not just good for this 1 year.
Right, cycles, but we're limited to how this was being funded.
But we can apply for the next grant and add to the preliminary engineering report. Just these 5 things that's in this report can be used for the next 6 grant cycles. If we want to say, we want to do whatever to the community building next year, we can apply for that grant and put that in there. We'd have to pay for another engineering report.
Okay.
I think the bucket list for Parks and Recreation is never ending. There's lots and lots of things that can be and should be done. In my opinion, these are good items, and it looks like to me there's an avenue forward to pay for it all. It's not gonna stop there. You're gonna move from that point to another point and constantly be on the move when it comes to Park and Recreation. I don't think we're looking at the 500,000 and splitting it up over 15 different areas. There's things you do outside. We got lots to fix on the community building that we're gonna do inside, but those are gonna come in stages, I believe. Speaking for I believe those that I know, those that have been made comments on my end, this is a good bang for your buck. It's gonna really update the park. I'm in favor of it, 100%, so that's just my view on it. And next week, it'll be another project. Next month, there'll be another project. We live by projects on this council, one right after another. Some we can do, some we can't, but we live by the projects. Parks and Recreation is always going to be something that it needs something. Because the bigger and the better it gets, the better visual you have for everybody that comes to town.
And there are more grant cycles that are coming, so you guys also have the LWCF grant that's getting ready to come out as well. So that'll be September-ish, whenever that comes out. And so that's a land water conservation grant, and that is also for Parks and Recreation as well.
So I want to answer the transparency thing because it's tearing me up. Because look, in June, the engineering firm that was chosen contacted us and wanted a meeting. We came and sit down there. They said, we got to figure out what this is today because we got to have this turned in a week. So we went down to the park and we went over all that stuff with them to see what could be done and what they can do and what they can get engineered in a week. That turned into later that we found out it didn't have to be done till the end of this month. But it didn't matter. The stuff that we gave them, they told us had to be turned in a week. So transparency, nothing. We gave them playground equipment to do that would improve the park and would give us the best chance of getting $500,000 given to this city to help improve the park for the residents. The park hasn't been improved in forever. We've been giving tens of thousands of dollars a year to the ballpark, all good money spent. And that ballpark looks fantastic, and we're still making improvements on it. And we're taking care of that ourselves with our money. This money was designated for the park from the get-go. So I don't understand the problem.
I'm not complaining about getting the money and putting it in the park. My issue is the 5 things that now we are saddled with to have to make sure those go in our park now. Because 3 people made a decision.
Well, Doreen,
Battle is the wrong word.
Is that what you're
Excuse
upset
me?
about because you didn't get called?
Yeah, every one of these people on this council should have been called.
You
Today, I picked up
approved-
a packet
You
from this.
approved the grant.
Correct.
And you approved the engineering report for there was no requirement to bring the whole council in and say, do you want a red slide or a blue slide? It wasn't that.
Don't condescend me.
I'm not
That's
condescending
bullshit.
you. You're saying it
These
wasn't
things
transparent.
are
There was, There was
No.
never nothing that was nefarious about this. All we did was meet the requirements that we were given and the
I'd like to
deadlines we
see
were
the
given.
survey that was taken, because I remember that there was one person that wanted a splash pad in the survey. One person.
Maureen, the question of the splash pad had been brought up for the last 10
Correct, and everybody said, let's make sure we get the water system first.
but we didn't have the water system.
Correct.
And I said, when we get the water system upgrade, it will be fine. But more than one person has requested a splash pad.
I understand that, but we still are a year out on our water system, at least.
We'll be a year out on the splash pad. So, I mean, we won't have a splash pad next week, I know me.
My comment stands that the citizens have not had a decision on any of this time. I get it. You said people have talked to you. People have said stuff to you. I get it. But you're telling us we had a hearing. It was never posted anywhere. Nobody that I contacted knew anything about it today. And so now, when we vote on this, these 5 things have to happen. She just said so. We cannot change those.
Well, I don't see that the plan, I don't see a negative in it, not like what I think I'm hearing here. I think there's always room for other improvements at other times, but I don't see the problem with what's going on here, personally.
I have to agree with you, Ira. I am for this.
It seems like a pretty good bang for your buck, it seemed like to me.
I agree.
Our buck, it's $500,000 that we don't have to come up with. So when Doreen comments that we're saddled with stuff that we may not want, everything on that project has been discussed at one time or another with the public. Saddled is the wrong word. We're getting $500,000 potentially from a government entity that's going to build a new park that kids are going to want to visit. I don't understand the mindset that this is free money, but we might not want it because we don't like the way you did it. That's wrong thinking.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, you said the citizens were going to get an opportunity to discuss it. And then, like Mark said, you just turned around and said, this is what we're doing. That's the transparency I would have liked to see before you just show me a map and said, this is what's going on. That's not transparency. We 3 decided that this is what we're getting, and that's the way you get it. And that's like when your mom and dad do that, but that's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with this community.
Did you not just hear what I said? We went down there and saw what would fit and what would go.
Yeah, you
and
said you
all
went
of that
down in
kind of
June.
stuff?
Did you say anything to us about what was going on?
It was a meeting here that went down to the park and picked the things, and then they said they would, and then they went and did the engineering report. It wasn't a council meeting. It was just something to get the engineering report finished in a week.
But you, as the mayor, could have shared that with everybody on your council.
Sure. You're right.
And we've received grant money before in high dollar amounts, right? And every time we've received those, excuse me, we received those grants, the city council voted on how that money was gonna be spent, correct?
Well,
The
guys,
people-
I appreciate the possibilities here.
The public.
I really do.
Again, I think the point they're just trying to get, I mean, Doreen and maybe myself and whatever, is that I'm not against the park. I don't think Doreen is either. I mean, what, again,
So what's the
my problem
battle?
is that we didn't have an opportunity to, again, I'm agreeing with her. We didn't have an opportunity to pick these items that were gonna go in there and how the money was being used for the park. Throw all $525,000 in that park, I'm for it. I'm for it. But the city council's here for a reason. The city council should have the ability to find out what the options are, present it to our districts, and then come back and say, this is what we should do. But what I think happened was, it got rushed, we're down to the wire, and now there's no time to make that decision, so we're being forced to approve this or lose the money.
You're not forced to. You can
No, if we
decline
don't-
it.
Here's the thing, if we vote no, okay, if we vote no on this, if anybody votes no on this, it's gonna look bad. Because some citizens may, a lot of citizens probably want the improvements, but maybe they want something different. And we're not giving them that opportunity. That's the problem. My problem isn't the park, isn't the amount of money, it's the process that this went through, and the city's not getting any input. We didn't give the city people we didn't listen to get any input from them. We were just presented this and said, boom, here's what we're doing.
You didn't get input in here, but you typically won't, Mark.
Well, come on, you got a
look
small
around.
community, you post a little piece of paper out on the wall that nobody hardly ever comes in here. I didn't know that was up there either until I came in today. I mean, we as a city council need to look at how to get information out to our community better. Okay, we have 2 Granby websites.
Well, I think this is another.
That's another
part of it.
discussion.
Whole other
So I'm
conversation.
off my wagon.
I can tell you that the community survey was put out in December of 2024. And citizens voted, number 1, what they wanted was water system improvements. Number 2, street and sidewalk repairs. 3, public safety enhancements. 4, housing improvements. And 5, community facilities and programs. That's from the survey that was sent out to the
So with no specifics on the park.
And I will get that to you guys. We have to do that. I know that we have to do that because CDG does require those. We have to get that.
Well, from the list you read, we are really working on every one of those at this point.
Well, I think, guys, we're gonna have to yes or no this
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Does anybody else have any comments before I would entertain a motion? And what we're doing is approving the resolution. Do you have to read it, Sandra?
I believe so. Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
She has to read it first.
She has to read it.
A resolution of the City of Granby, Missouri stating intent to seek funding through the Community Development Block Grant Program and authorizing the mayor presiding commissioner to pursue activities in an attempt to secure funding. Whereas Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 does state in its primary objective the development of viable urban communities by providing decent housing and suitable living environment and expanding economic opportunities, principally for persons of low and moderate income. Whereas Title I does offer to communities the opportunity of monetary assistance in accomplishing its stated primary objectives. Whereas the Missouri Department of Economic Development is designated to award community development block grant funding under Title I, and whereas the city, county does have areas of need which may be addressed through the Community Development Block Grant Program. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Granby, Missouri, that it desires to participate with the Missouri Department of Economic Development in the improvement of our community under the activities authorized pursuant to the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. Therefore, be it further resolved that the mayor of Granby, Missouri, hereby is authorized to prepare and submit documents which are necessary in applying for funding and establishing an administrative organization to implement activities pursuant to the aforementioned act. Therefore, be it further resolved that the applicant will dedicate $22,000 of local cash funds and $0 of in-kind materials or labor to be used in this project.
So before we move forward,
And the 22,000, we don't pay unless we get the grant.
Correct. And that can be paid over the life of the grant. And so, as we go through, that's on a quarterly basis, really. So you take that $22,000 and break it out into quarters. So it's not that change all the time.
Right here. It's in your thing. It looks like this.
before we move
Did you
forward.
find it?
You, before this meeting started, you were saying you had issues with some of these as well. But now, knowing that we have to do all these,
Yeah, because the issues that I brought up, we addressed by saying we're gonna put security fencing around it. We're gonna open it in the morning, close it at night. There's only so much that our city can do to not have cool, nice equipment.
yeah,
On the chances that one person might mash his fingers or one person might stick a stick in a hole. We're gonna what if ourselves into not having anything. I mean, we could, I don't,
transparency. It's all we've asked for this whole time.
I make a motion to accept Bill, whatever that, or resolution. I don't see a number, but
there's no,
the resolution concerning the
CDBG.
CDBG grant on the first reading, and accept this resolution on the grant on the second and final reading by number only. There's the number, but
okay, do you have to read it again?
I just have to read the title, though. A resolution of the City of Granby, Missouri stating intent to seek funding through the Community Development Block Grant Program and authorizing the mayor to pursue activities in an attempt to secure funding.
Well, I'll make a motion. I move to accept Form K resolution on the second and final reading by number and title only.
Okay, Bob's made a motion that we approve the resolution of Form K.
Second.
And Mark has seconded. Roll call?
Bob Brooks,
Yes.
Doreen Klaus,
Yes,
Mark Shaw,
Abstain.
Ira Hawkins.
yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I'd entertain a motion. That's all we had tonight on the agenda.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, Ira's made a motion that we adjourn.
second.
Doreen has seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries.